Hi everyone. Today I'm going to read a column I wrote back in March 1990 called A Hair-Raising Experience. 8 years ago, when Becky was in kindergarten and I had a 2-year-old and a baby on the way, I cut our oldest daughter's long blonde hair. I just didn't have the patience to fool with the tangles or the knots or the whining of a little girl who couldn't stand a tiny bit of pain when I was working my fingers to the bone trying to make her beautiful. Well, times have changed. I no longer have all those little ones underfoot, and Becky is old enough to care for her own permed hair. So my patience now allows me to take more time with 7-year-old Rachel Joe's long blonde hair. Usually I don't go to great lengths to make her beautiful. God already did that. I just braid her hair for school on Monday, and then on Tuesday she has a head full of lovely waves. Last week, Rachel decided she desperately needed curls for a school program. I finally gave in and promised to put curlers in her hair the night before, forgetting I had a meeting that would keep me away from home until way past bedtime. At supper that evening, I tried to explain to Rachel that I wouldn't put curlers in her hair because I wouldn't be home. Tears welled in her blue eyes. But, Mom, you promised. I'll use the electric hair crimper before you go to school tomorrow, I offered. You'll still look nice. Her face turned red as tears trickled down her soft cheeks and she cried. Guilty, guilt stabbed at me. I had promised. I turned to our older daughter for help. Becky, could you put these curlers in your sister's hair tonight after her bath? Becky agreed to do the chore without even being bribed, and I went off to my meeting without any guilty feelings. Much later, I arrived back home to find all the lights on in the house. Rachel met me at the door in near hysterics. Look what Becky did, she cried, pointing to the tangled mass of hair she clutched at the top of her head. What I found was the remains of a pink curler surrounded by a fair amount of my little daughter's hair. A couple of strands of Rachel's hair fell out of the first curler, Becky quietly explained from across the room. I tried and I tried to unwind it, but it kind of got tangled. When it got really bad, I tried cutting the curler out. I looked at Rachel. Most of her hair was intact. I assured Becky I could untangle the knot and sent her off to bed, but after 5 minutes of Rachel's tears and pathetic whimpering, I gave up trying and finished the job with scissors. Rachel looked fine the following day. She even had long curls for the program, except for a particular short one on the crown of her head that kind of looked like a corkscrew. Right now, Rachel continues to have long hair. I guess God had graced me with enough patience to cope, but I won't guarantee the future. If I'm faced with too many hair disasters, you can be sure Rachel will look more like Peter Pan and not Wendy. 1990. So many years ago. Until next time, that's all there is from Sunny Book Farm.